Julio now is in Springfield, Ohio, talking about the Haitian influx to see what's really going on. He's our national correspondent, Julio Rosas. Welcome.
Yeah, Glenn, thanks for having me.
You bet. You got there yesterday?
I got in late Monday night, yes.
Okay. So what have you found on the ducks and the geese and the everything else?
Well, I can tell you that it is an issue that has been raised to the city for months. Months before this got brought to the national attention, last week into this week. I can't speak to how widespread it is, but it's been enough of a problem that people have been saying, "Hey, we've been seeing this. I've heard about this. Can the city look into it?" And from my understanding is, and not just with the duck issue, the pet issue, but overall any issue that residents have been raising over the 20,000 Haitians being put into their city. A lot of the residents feel that the city commission is just not listening to their problems, or they're unwilling to do anything about it because there is a lot of money being involved in the decisions, because they're these Haitians, they have jobs. I mean, and so that's why they're able to be here legally, and they have protective status.
Wait. They have jobs?
Yes.
How did they do job placement for 15 or 20,000 Haitians?
It's through a temp agency called First Diversity. It's based here in Springfield, and that's one of the tension points within the American citizens here, is that everything seems to be revolved around accommodating the Haitians first and the American citizens second, and that's why they're so upset at the city commission, because the city commission appears that they want to make Springfield seem as accommodating as possible to the Haitian population, which includes not towing cars of unlicensed drivers. Surrounding communities are having to do that because, admittedly, they're not very great drivers, and it's caused, some people have been killed. There have been accidents on the road, but Springfield in the past has just not been willing to tow their cars whenever there's been an accident or whether they've been caught driving recklessly. And so that's one of the reasons why people no longer drive into Springfield to shop. I was in Tremont City, which is just 5 minutes to the north. They no longer go to the Kroger or the Walmart in Springfield. They go to the cities up north to do the shopping because they say even being on the road is too dangerous.
I got to believe that a town that small, I mean, Kamala last night said it was a mid-sized town. No, it's not. That's 50,000 people is a small town in America. And I got to believe you put 20,000 immigrants from anywhere that are not, looking to blend in and be part of society. I got to believe that has totally changed the culture. And if I were a resident, I'd be pissed. Who is the federal government to do this to my town? Is that the feeling you're getting from people?
Yes. I was at the city commission. So while most people were getting ready for the debate last night, I was at the city commission meeting that they have. And a few people spoke during the public comments portion, where one woman, she's 58, she's elderly. She lives on the south side of town, and the south side of town is where most of the Haitians have been put and are living at now. And she says she doesn't even leave her house anymore without her gun and her 120-pound pit bull, because she has been followed. She has been groped by Haitians.
Jeez.
She's been accosted verbally. And she said, I'm very worried about the women of this town because they're very aggressive towards women. And that was just one person, but there's a lot of, yes, the pet issue is one thing, but even on the housing alone, what's been happening is that landlords have, you say you have a family of four, the landlords don't renew their lease with them. And then they replace them with up to 15 Haitians. They're not even renting the house. They're renting beds. They're charging them, I've been told, $200
oh my gosh.
a week for just the bed. And it was explained to me that the bed never gets cold because there's just a constant rotation of people that use it for those 8 hours. Then they go to work and then they come back and it just starts all over again. So you put, six, you put, two sets of bunk beds in a room. That's 6 people, right?
That's the way it works in China.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the landlords are getting a lot more money from this, and the city isn't enforcing the fire codes. So because that's a fire hazard when you have that many people crammed into one, a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom place, but you have 15 people inside, that's a fire hazard. But the city has refused to enforce the codes again to try to accommodate the Haitians as much as possible. And American citizens who haven't been able to afford to leave, they've ended up homeless. There's encampments that have sprung up around Springfield, and it's not because of just homeless people as like Los Angeles that are drugged out. It's they can't afford anything else, and that's their only option.
I have to tell you, if this were happening in my city and somebody came to enforce some sort of ordinance, I was building a house and they were like, you got to get a permit for this because we have to know for fire safety. I'd tell them go to hell. When you decide to have everybody go along with your rules, then you can come see me. I mean, this is a national nuclear bomb that is about to go off. People are not going to tolerate this. I heard a guy yesterday. He was a vet, and he said he was in Chicago, and he said, "What is happening here? We have vets on the street. I'm barely making it. We have homeless people. You're doing more for these illegals than you're doing for us." And then he said the key words. He said, "You need to do that for us as well." Well, that's universal everything. And they're pushing us into this. This is that you cannot push these cities to the brink like this. This is Cloward and Piven. And the result will be communism if Kamala has her way. This is extraordinarily dangerous. What can be done to help Springfield, Julio?
Well, that's interesting because, again, during the public comment section of the meeting last night, I would actually say more people spoke in favor of just saying, well, the Haitians are here. There's nothing we can do about it. We just need to work through it, as opposed to saying we need to stop accepting Haitians. So you
gotta be kidding me.
It kind of appears that at least, there's a sizable amount of people who have just resigned themselves to this new reality. And it doesn't seem like, obviously that's just one snapshot of the community, but I also think that people are afraid of speaking out on the issue because of the national attention and just because of the environment that we're in. They're afraid they're going to be called racist. They're afraid they're going to be called bigoted and all this stuff. And, it's a small town, right? So everyone knows everybody. And so I think that's part of the issue, but that in and of itself is a big problem because if you're not going to speak out about it, then the loudest voices are going to get their way. Right. So in terms of what could be done for Springfield, I mean, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change if Harris takes back the White House, and it's not going to be just Springfield. It's going to be multiple. It's going to be cities across the country. And so I think it's significant that when I started my reporting on the border crisis, it was always on the border. And, now we're nearing the end of the Biden-Harris first term, and I'm having to do immigration stories in America heartland.
Mm-hmm. Every town is a border town. We've been saying that for years now.
And at first it sounded a little corny. It sounded, it sounded very political. But it is 100% true. And it's not just Chicago. It's not just New York City. It's not just Denver. It is any town can face this within the next couple of years.
Julio, we'll talk to you again maybe tomorrow. Thank you so much for the update. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Julio Rosas. He's the Blaze Media national correspondent. Now, let me say something. You're not going to fix this. Nothing will change if you just acquiesce. If you just go along with it, well, there's nothing I can do. Do you see that they're testing you again? This is like COVID. Wear a mask 6 feet apart. Stay in your house. No kids going to school. They know what they could get away with on that. Now, what are they doing? They're taking jobs and giving them to illegals without taking care of our own people first. And you're just resigned to that? Nothing will change in this country. And you know what? I believe Donald Trump was saved by the Lord. I believe that was a miracle that he turned his head. When you see the picture of the bullet as he's turning his head, that's a miracle. It's a miracle that that guy got up. It's a miracle that that guy got up and said, stand your ground, fight. It's a miracle that that guy goes on stage every day. He's actually in the fight. And we're going to say, I don't want to be called racist. That word has no meaning anymore. No meaning. No words have meanings. If I may quote my mother, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. You've got to stand up. If you don't, you will get what you deserve. You will first become part of the problem, and then you will be part and parcel with the wrong side. You know what's right. You must stand up.